If INFJs were honest. Have you ever found yourself biting your tongue, not because you didn't have something to say, but because you were afraid of how deep your truth might cut? INFJs are often described as the quiet observers, the empaths, the mysterious old souls. But beneath that calm exterior lies a whirlwind of emotion, insight, and inner conflict. What if, just for a moment, INFJs were completely honest? What would they say if they dropped every filter, ignored every fear of hurting others, and laid their souls bare? This video is for you, INFJ. We're diving into the raw, unspoken truths that live inside your heart, the things you feel deeply but rarely dare to say out loud. 1. I care too much, and it's exhausting. Most people would never guess just how deeply you feel everything. A simple offhand comment, a change in tone, or an emotional shift in a room can leave you drained for days. INFJs often feel like emotional tuning forks, constantly absorbing the energies around them. You care, fiercely. But it's not just compassion, it's a kind of inner responsibility to heal others, to fix their pain, to take it on as your own. You listen to a friend vent about their toxic relationship for the 100th time. You offer insight, comfort, support, again. But inside, you're screaming. You're tired. You're drowning in second-hand heartbreak. You lie awake at night worrying about them, rehearsing what you'll say next time, and praying they find the strength to choose themselves. But what about your strength? Sometimes I wish I could stop caring. I wish I could walk away like other people seem to. But I can't. It's who I am. But it's also what's killing me inside. INFJs often learn to equate love with self-abandonment. You might have been the responsible one in your family, the friend who always listens, the partner who gives endlessly. But somewhere in all that giving, you began to forget what your own emotional needs were. You confuse love with service. And over time, it becomes soul-crushing. Remind yourself, caring doesn't mean self-sacrifice. You can love without losing yourself. 2. I pretend to be okay, even when I'm breaking inside. INFJs are masters of the mask. To protect others from their own pain, or to avoid overwhelming them, you'll often smile when you want to cry, laugh when your world is falling apart. At work, you're praised for being composed and dependable. No one sees the tears you cry alone in your car on your lunch break. You answer "I'm fine" automatically, even when you're crumbling. You show up for others even when your own tank is running on fumes. I hate how invisible my pain is. I wish someone would look past the mask and ask, "Are you really okay?" And mean it. I wish someone could see the strength it takes to pretend every day. INFJs grow up learning to be the emotional caretakers. Even when they were hurting, they often had to hide their pain to avoid burdening others. That childhood coping mechanism becomes an adult pattern: smile through the tears, hold space for everyone else, and suffer silently in the background. But silence doesn't heal pain. It hides it. Practice saying, "I'm not okay today," even if it feels scary. Honesty doesn't make you weak, it makes you brave. 3. I crave deep connection, but I'm terrified of being truly seen. INFJs want soul-level connection more than anything. But that desire is at war with a deep fear. What if someone sees all of me and doesn't love what they find? You feel a strong pull toward someone, but when they get too close, you emotionally withdraw. Not because you don't care, but because the vulnerability is overwhelming. You cancel plans last minute. You go quiet for days. Not because you're bored, but because your heart is naked, and you don't know how to handle that. I push people away not because I don't love them, but because I don't know how to let them stay. I want to be seen, but I'm also scared of being understood too deeply. What if they don't stay when they really see me? For INFJs, love isn't surface level. It's spiritual. Energetic. And because you feel everything so intensely, you also fear abandonment just as intensely. You may have been hurt before, betrayed after being vulnerable, ghosted after opening up. And now, even the possibility of being rejected keeps you at arm's length from the people you want most. Practice receiving love, not just giving it. Let someone do something kind for you without guilt. 4. I know what you're feeling, even if you don't say it. INFJs are intuitive sponges. You walk into a room and immediately sense tension. You hear what's not said louder than what is. You spot the sadness behind a smile, the irritation behind a sure, no problem, the emotional shift behind every silence. A coworker says, "I'm fine," with a smile. You feel the sadness behind it like a punch in the chest. You know they're not okay, but if you say so, it'll make things awkward. So, you stay silent and stew in someone else's pain. Sometimes I wish I didn't know. The weight of unspoken pain around me is unbearable. I can't turn it off, and it hurts. I feel things I was never meant to carry. From an early age, you could read the room better than most adults. You knew when mom was pretending not to cry. You could feel the tension between friends before they ever argued. That hyper-attunement to emotion became your superpower, but also your burden. Because now, you walk through life collecting emotional residue like static. And there's no off switch. Use your insight to create safe spaces, not to fix everyone. Sometimes just saying, "I'm here if you ever want to talk," is enough. 5. I hate small talk, it feels like slow death. INFJs aren't just introverted, they're deep thinkers and feelers. And nothing drains your soul faster than surface-level conversations about the weather, or weekend plans. It's not that you're trying to be rude. It's that your brain and heart are wired for meaning, not noise. You're at a social gathering, and someone launches into a 10-minute story about their recent shopping trip. You nod, smile, and play along, but inside, you're screaming for air. You try to pivot the conversation towards something deeper, values, dreams, passions, but the shift doesn't land. You feel more alone in a crowd than you ever do in solitude. I don't hate people, I hate pretending to care about things that don't matter to me. I long for connection, but only if it's real. I'd rather have one soul-stirring conversation than 100 hollow ones. INFJs often feel like aliens in their own culture. In a world obsessed with speed, trends, and shallow entertainment, you're craving something sacred, depth. You don't want to know what someone does, you want to know who they are. What makes them come alive. What they fear. What they believe in. That hunger for depth can make casual interactions feel suffocating. It's not social anxiety, it's spiritual starvation. Don't apologize for your intensity. The right people will crave it too, and when you find them, conversations will feel like home. 6. I forgive too much, then quietly disappear. INFJs have an incredible capacity for forgiveness. You see the best in people, even when they show you their worst. But once someone crosses that invisible final line, you don't explode. You vanish. A friend consistently takes advantage of your kindness, canceling plans last minute, only calling when they need something, never reciprocating your care. You make excuses for them. You rationalize their behavior. But eventually, you stop responding. One day, they reach out. And you don't answer. I give people so many chances they don't even realize they've run out. When I finally walk away, it's because I've already mourned the friendship while it was still alive. INFJs struggle with confrontation. You don't want to hurt people, so you internalize pain instead. But once you've reached your emotional limit, there's nothing left to save. You disappear not out of cruelty, but out of self-preservation. And while others are shocked by your silence, they never saw the 100 quiet ways you tried to stay. Give yourself permission to leave before you're broken. 7. I'm tired of hiding my light just to make others comfortable. INFJs often downplay their intelligence, talents, or intuition to avoid standing out, or making others feel insecure. You've been told you're too much for simply being yourself, so you shrink. But inside, you're tired of dimming your light just to fit in. In a group conversation, you have a deep insight, but you bite your tongue, afraid it'll seem weird or intense. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You act more casual than you feel. Afterward, you wonder, why can't I just be me? I know I'm not like everyone else. I've tried to hide it. But I'm exhausted. I want to stop editing myself to be palatable. I want to be seen in full color, not grayscale. INFJs were often misunderstood growing up. Your depth was labeled dramatic. Your silence was seen as aloofness. Over time, you learned to camouflage, adapting to your environment rather than standing out. But your soul is suffocating in disguise. You don't want to be tolerated. You want to be loved, as you are. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your weirdness, not just endure it. If INFJs were honest, truly honest, the world wouldn't just see your pain, it would witness your power. You are not broken. You're not too sensitive, too intense, too quiet, too complex. You are a rare soul in a noisy world, a lighthouse for others, even when your own waves threaten to drown you. But you don't have to hide anymore. This is your invitation, INFJ, let the world hear your truth. Stop shrinking. Speak with your full voice. Love with your full heart. Live with your full light. Because when you do, you don't just change your world. You change the world. If this resonated, INFJ, leave a comment below with the phrase "I'm ready to be seen." Let's find each other. Let's build a space where honesty isn't just safe, it's celebrated. You're not alone. And you never have been. Stay safe, and see you in the next one.